The last laptop was an Air because I was traveling so much. And at the time, everything was in the cloud. I'm like, I really don't need, I bought that one in 2019. Actually, I ran that one longer than I should have, but everything was in the cloud. Unless you were doing video editing at home or you're playing video games, you didn't need a great laptop. But I was standing in the Apple store a year ago before all the agentic stuff came out. And I'm thinking, I know I'm not going to be video editing, but everything that's happening with AI, I got a feeling that your device is going to matter. Like the power that you're running on your device is going to matter because we have no idea where AI is going. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't buy a completely souped up MacBook Pro, but I added some RAM. I made sure to get the latest and greatest processor, all that. And sure enough, about 4 months ago, I go, oh, I'm so glad I got the souped up version, because the other thing is like the battery lasts a long time if you're not running hard processes. But if I don't plug my laptop in and I'm doing all my stuff, it's getting a little warm. And
you hear the fan go like,
yeah, I didn't hear the fan come on my computer until I started running a lot of agentic stuff from my machine. And I go, okay. And so now, for the first time in my life, I need a laptop and a desktop. And I'm seeing, I need something at home that's plugged in and running and on all the time, because I have what are called cron jobs running in the background. And that is at specific times during the day or the week, have you set them up, something triggers on my system and it fires off a workflow. And so basically, what a cron job is, you can build one and it basically codes software for you, AI, the Claude code, and then it'll install it, and then your computer will run it, and it's a whole thing. And so there's been a lot of conversations from people that are developing AI. We look at Claude and OpenAI and all these companies, and you can go and chat with them. You open up your web browser and you chat, which is great. And then even if you have Claude code, a lot of that processing is happening at a data center, and it's coming back and it's going back and forth. But there's some stuff happening on your computer now. Like there's some things are happening locally and remotely. Whereas before it was just remotely and all you needed was a good connection. And then it's also moving towards needing some AI local model. So people who are power users are starting to have a server at home, which I'm moving towards as well, which is buy a server and that's running your own local model. You can run AI with no internet connection in order to run your own AI.
Which that's beneficial for companies
really
who are
all you need is
about their safety or the security, client information, things like that.
Privacy,
having that in-house is 100% valuable.
Privacy is one piece. The other is token spend. And so I can get a server at my home. The models are open source. I can download them and use them for free. All I have to have is a machine that's powerful enough. And I maxed out my Claude code yesterday. I got something popping up on my screen and said, sorry, you're going to have to wait to keep coding.
It's the worst.
You burned all your tokens, bro. And so if I'm on the $200 a month plan, and if I want more tokens, the cost per token goes up dramatically.
Yeah.
So the guys that are coding, hardcore coding that I'm familiar with, they're spending a couple $1,000s a month for the additional tokens. And then, now people are bouncing back and forth between Codex and Claude and all this. And, there's some cool stuff happening. But I think there's a level of comfort that comes with saying, hey, I've got my own server here at the house that is 90% as good as Claude code.
Yeah.
It's not as good, but it's pretty close. It's 3 to 6 months behind. And it's the gap between the open source free stuff and the stuff that's state of the art. That gap is closing all the time. So we're probably looking at, in the next year, some of these open source models that can run locally being maybe a month behind Claude. And so there are guys who are running so much code that they have to have their own at home, and it's 90% as good, but they can run it longer. They can have 2 different open source models checking each other's work so they can get more done with. There's ways of structuring how your AI is working to get the same quality output.
Yeah.
And Elon's talked about this is, There's going to be GPUs in every Tesla. So it's got its own local AI running in your car. There's the robots are going to have their own onboard AI. They're not going to have to connect to the internet. So there's going to be, everyone's going to have some AI processors in their home appliances, if not. And so I think that there's going to be a mix. We're all going to have AI on premises. You know, in our pocket. You know, you can download a local AI to your phone now. It's not going to be as powerful, and I know people who own a warehouse full of servers. They're running 100 servers, their own models. So, but I think that it's going to become, in the next, probably 3 to 4 years, everyone's going to have their local model, their local at-home thing, and then they're also going to be using the one out there. Yeah, but it's gonna be a mixture of both. But I am working on a project where there's sensitive data, and once the initial build of the platform, I'm using primarily Claude Code with some codecs to build it. But when it comes to processing the AI that the clients of the platform will be using, that'll likely be a local model on a server, and it'll either be in a warehouse company that I know and trust, and I know the owners and we're tight, or it'll just be in my own location. I'll have my own location that's running that. Yeah. And so
shoot, there goes a business vertical right there. Instead of storage units, you could have server units for clients, where if you don't want to have this server tower or all this right in your local area, we'll house it for you. And we'll take care of that for you.
Yeah, you'll still have to connect to the internet for it to work, but my platform is going to be, you have to have an internet connection to connect my platform I'm building anyway. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of variations of this, and what we're seeing is just the distribution of intelligence and the decentralization of the AI network. I know right now NVIDIA is, and they're testing this out in a few different places. What NVIDIA has now is you can basically, they'll put a little mini data center at your house. They'll pay you to, instead of having a data center, there's like, I don't know, maybe 20 data centers going up around Austin, Texas right now. Yeah. Also, man, I've got all this extra solar. Why don't we it's got a little battery that sits out there. It's got a couple GPUs in there, and they'll pay me for helping decentralize the data center network. Like, it's spreading it's going to be in your pocket. It's going to be in your home robot. It's going to be in your car. And you can own, like, some of it's going to be, you're going to be renting out the data to some degree, and you can have data that never leaves your house too.
Yeah, this is reminding me of the Arc. I don't know if you've ever seen this, like the pictures of the iPhone or like cell phones, how like they started small and then they like went bigger and then they started getting smaller again. Or maybe it was the opposite, like they started big, went smaller, and then they started getting bigger again because now they want the big screen for the experience. And you see this rotation of hardware as well. Like you, I grew up and I was building computers, and I had actually the computer I built in high school. I upgraded the motherboard a few times. I had that tower, that PC tower, with a few upgrades all the way up until I bought the system that I am on now. And that was in 2021, where I finally retired that main system. But I was using the MacBook Air for a lot of my work, and everything was on the cloud, and I had an editor. The only bottleneck I would experience was uploading videos to YouTube. When I would finally get the edited files, there would be some slowness there. But then I upgraded to this computer, just as you mentioned, more RAM, more power. I have the ability to edit a little bit more. But now the shift is thinking, I'm going to need to have the ability to process things. I'm going to have to be able to keep up with the throughput of these LLMs, because I was seeing that we're not necessarily going to be limited by our imagination or the capacity of the LLMs. We're now going to be mainly limited by the computing power. And that's where, whether it's the data centers or what we have locally, we're going to need that pipeline, if you would, as clear as possible if we really want to increase our productivity and output on the back end.
Yeah, the two bottlenecks to compute right now is processors, GPUs, and energy, power. Those are two really interesting things, investment opportunities. It's not investment advice. I'm not a financial pro, whatever.
That's it for today's stack, but we aren't done stacking. Join the school community to be amongst other entrepreneurs who are building their most effective stack and learning to implement AI more effectively than anyone else in the world. We'd love to see you in there. And for more content, be sure to check out one of these videos, and you can even hit that subscribe button and the bell notification so you can get alerted of every new episode that drops week in and week out. That's it for today. We'll catch you guys in the next one.